Good morning there. You're watching QTV this morning, and I am Jenna Bosonko, and we're wishing you all a successful Ramadan. This is our fourth show since Ramadan, and we're super excited to be here. It's a morning show, so the energy is still here. It's not an afternoon show or an evening show, so we'll be able to handle it just perfectly before the Ramadan actually hits us really hard. Good morning, Mr. Mboj.
Good morning. You know, that only means that now we begin the show without the coffee. Can you
without
imagine
the
this
coffee,
morning
yeah.
without the coffee?
Without a
Now
cup of tea or a cup of coffee, yeah.
For a month.
Makes it boring, right?
Well, not necessarily. It's just a different character, different feel.
Yeah.
It's a different feel, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's it. So,
but
it's just for a month, isn't it?
Yeah. So generally, how are you living the whole process? Things are changing.
Yes.
Food, eating in the afternoon, and all of that.
Sort of, yes.
Yeah.
Everything is changing. Yes.
Yeah.
And for the first 2 days or so.
I think it's just for the first 2 days.
And
generally, Ramadan for the first 1 week, everybody's having the energy, but eventually it becomes normal, and then, you know, people just go back to, you know, the normal routine all over again. So it's just the excitement for the first week. Mr. Ade, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I mean, everywhere you go, you see people getting into the spirit of it. And for those of us who work late, when you're driving home in the evening, the streets are empty.
Yeah.
Like seriously empty.
Mm-hmm.
So on Saturday, there was virtually no traffic. Mm-hmm. You know, when I left here after the 8:30 news, just a clear run through. Took me about, I mean, it's even these days because of the Bertil Harding Highway, it's usually about a 20-minute journey, but I think it took about 15, 16 minutes.
Right.
Yeah, but that's how clear it was. So
yeah, and the Lent starts on the 5th, which is on Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know, once again, these two coincided.
Yeah, Lent
you know,
and Ramadan. Yeah.
Yeah, which makes it even more exciting because we're all fasting, eating at the same time, and all of that. And I was just scrolling on Facebook and I saw some Muslims actually advocating that during Ramadan, you know, we should also be careful with other people's faith. For example, loudspeakers that are being used and all of that. So when I read that and I saw a lot of Muslims coming in to support that, I'm like, this is a really good thing. You know, we live in a society where the next person is a Christian, your cousin is a Christian, your cousin is a Muslim.
It's not been a problem in the Gambia.
Yeah, never.
One has to say.
Yes, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So yeah, it's a continuation of
exactly what has been there already, which is a beautiful thing.
And really more generally, we should always sort of show consideration
to the next
other
person.
People's interests.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know, so it's just as simple as that. Manners.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, manners.
Yeah. I guess subsequently as we go, we'll be bringing health experts, you know, imams, and just because there are just a lot of elements that you can look at when it comes to Ramadan, eating habits, and all of that. So as we go on the program for the next 1 month, obviously, we will be having special guests that are, you know.
We had Imam Jah talk about some of the do's and don'ts.
Exactly.
Before
last week.
Ramadan started.
Yes.
Just to kind of prepare people. But there are so many things.
There's so many things.
And I think over the sort of days and weeks,
we will
they'll
get
be
into
having
that.
phone-ins as well.
Yeah.
On this and other programs.
Yeah.
Where people
Obviously,
can send in their questions.
Yeah, because with the health link as well, Dr. Jah does extremely well with explaining, you know, the health aspects of, you know, fasting, what to eat, what not to eat. Because in as much as fasting is good for your health, it can also be a negative thing based on how you eat during iftar and all of that. So make sure to stay with us on that. So let's now head right onto our African proverb, which says, don't rush the process.
Which doesn't look very African.
No,
it looks like a quote. Yeah, it's just a general one. Don't rush the process, good things take time. Don't rush the process, good things take time. So Mr. Mboj, did you ever want to achieve something and then you rushed it and then later, you know, with a little bit of time, with a little bit of patience, it just came to you naturally?
My suspicion is that every single human being at some point must have fallen in this trap.
Sure.
Especially when you're
But I'm looking
younger,
for that. I'm looking
it?
for that prominent, that prominent scenario.
Something
Something that stood out for you that you can point out for me.
No, I can't point to any
Anything?
specific example.
Okay.
Not at all. Where I sort of like rush the process and afterwards
You never do that?
realize
You never rush
no,
things?
it's not about that. Actually, when you're rushing, you don't even know that you're rushing. It's often when you have people around you
That will be like,
know,
take your time.
Take your time in this and that.
Yeah.
All you realize that suddenly you've taken an action. Well, there was a reaction.
Yes.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Then maybe you start regretting and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But this is really quite self-explanatory. Perhaps where we do not recognize this, because immediately I looked at that, I said, we just celebrated independence.
Right.
Everybody's just so disappointed. It's a process.
It's a process.
It takes a long time to
Yeah.
form a nation.
Yeah.
So I just applied it to it immediately. I said, don't rush the process.
Right.
Don't be disappointed. We'll get there. Good
Yeah.
things sort of like, take time, to come.
Yeah.
Right.
It's true. It's true. I mean, like in Boch, I can't think of a
Particular
particular
scenario
thing
as
that
well.
stands out.
Because
But
it has happened
but
a lot.
I suspect I've done it more than
More,
a few
yeah,
times.
a lot of times.
But yeah, there are many things that we want them to happen quickly, and even some people who they want to get rich quick. And sometimes, for example, we have people who come here and say, "I want to be an intern," and then at the end of the internship of 3 months, they said, "I want to be employed straight away." Now they haven't even completed university yet, and we say to them, "No, you're young, you're 20, 21, whatever. Go and finish that, and then you can come back." So don't rush it. There's time enough to learn the process and prepare yourself really, really well, and then you can come. So that's
So I'm
one
going to
that
use
stands
a
out.
completely different angle. It's you don't rush the process. Good things take time. True.
Stick to the quote.
I'm sticking to the code, but in another way. Often, people use this code against people. Sometimes you can be in a situation where you're capable of something. You know that you are, because everybody is not supposed to take the time that you took. For example, the time it took Mr. Mboch to achieve something might not take you the same time for you to achieve something.
Yeah.
I've been in a situation several times where people would tell me, take your time, Jana, but in something that I know, I don't need to take my time anymore. No, let me come.
I'll let you finish.
Please.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll let you finish.
So I've been in situations like that where people use it against you to say, take your time on something, and then clearly well at that time, there's no need to take your time anymore. It's okay. It's something you can take on, and when you take it on, you're going to do just well in it. So also, no, I'm just, these are scenarios.
I don't think...
Well, to you, Mr.
No,
Adi,
let me interrupt.
to me, I'm saying it happens.
This quote is meant to internalize.
I know,
It's
but
not
I'm using it. That's
directed.
what I'm saying.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
You're not.
Mr. Mboch, what I'm saying
to you,
is...
the person.
What I'm
Do
saying
not
is...
rush the process.
Wow, what I'm saying is sometimes people tell you,
We've all
I
been
can
there.
tell you,
We've
Mr.
all
Mboch,
been
do
there.
not rush the process.
Trust
Be
me.
patient.
No,
Can't I tell you
that's
that?
But the thing is,
I
we've all
can't.
been there. We've all been there. We've all
Wow,
been there.
Luma, explain more.
Because
I've been told before that I should not rush
that's what I'm
something.
saying. We've all been told that.
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes this
but I
quote
don't
can
think
be
that's-
used in a wrong way by people. Because
Okay,
it's a motivational
yeah.
quote. Somebody can say, don't
Granted.
rush what you're doing
Yeah.
because you have enough time.
They might
Be
say it
patient.
as advice.
Granted, but
Exactly.
but
That's what I'm
in
saying.
your scenario, though,
Yeah.
I am quite curious to know, how do you know that you can do something? The only way you know is by doing it, then
That's
you
what I'm
find
saying.
out.
That's what
but
I'm-
before it happens, you cannot possibly know.
Maybe you've done it somewhere else.
No, but you did something else somewhere else.
Similar
This
to
is-
that particular thing in a particular setting. And that is what
Similarity,
you're told.
But similarity is not the same thing as sameness.
But you can use it as a benchmark
Look,
to measure.
If somebody
You
tells
can't
you that,
do that.
No, if somebody tells you
No,
that, then it's simple. Just say,
measuring-
I've done it before.
Well,
And
sometimes that's not enough.
It's the end of the.
That's
it's
not
the-
enough sometimes.
It's the end of the argument.
That's not enough. But the truth is, it happens. People sometimes tell you to be patient, take your time, don't rush things, to actually not really advise you, but not just to break your wings. It has happened before. I've seen it. I've gone through it and I've seen it with other people.
But somebody, I think there are two different things. It's almost like two separate bits of the quote. One is don't rush the process.
Yes.
The other, full stop. The other is good things
Good
take
things
time.
takes time,
That
yeah.
is indisputable. That is indisputable.
But sometimes not used in the good way.
No. Good things take time. That's why I said take them as separates.
Even if
But they've
it's
joined
in
them.
separates, it can still be
If
used in the
somebody
same
tells you
setting.
good things take time, they're not being negative to you. They're not trying
Well,
to clip
they
your
can
wings.
be.
They're not trying to.
They
no,
can
then they're
be.
not sincere.
That's what I'm saying.
But
It's a
that's-
lack of
that's a
sincerity,
different thing.
which happens every
But-
single
but
day
that's-
in
but
our
that's- but
communities.
that's a different
that's
thing.
a different thing.
That's-
Yeah,
that's
but
about
still, this is what is
sincerity.
used. This same thing is what is used. Don't rush things. Good things take time.
So-
All of dañ la ko dee wax. In Wolof you are told lu baax dafa jël time, so da nga war a xaar.
Look, I don't
And
think
sometimes
anybody's
it cannot.
disputing. I don't think anybody's
So
disputing
you're saying that it is misapplied.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
That's my...
But the misapplication is not its fault.
It's not at all. It's not. But I'm just saying how it is misapplied sometimes in scenarios. But it does not mean it is the fault of the
Okay.
code.
Okay.
It does not
All
mean
right.
the code is being negative.
Okay, so we should be heedful of these misapplications.
Exactly.
So
All right,
let me
And,
ask
granted.
you-
and also be sure of people's
Granted.
intentions.
Okay, so let me ask you: do good things take time?
Good things can take time,
Yes,
but not
Well,
all the time.
not all- we know.
Exactly.
You know,
Sometimes good things come to you.
Yes.
Sometimes you can have an application that you try once. I've tried applications 5 times,
Yes.
and some of my friends have tried it once and they got it.
Yeah, cool.
And I'm with the conviction that good things take time. It's going to come my way when the right time comes. But another person tried only once and got it.
Yeah,
And
yes,
it didn't
of
take
course
time.
it can happen.
Exactly. So that is my point in this instant.
But you don't
You know
have-
when
you
you're
don't- you don't-
surrounded by
but-
your two bosses,
But you don't know the thing.
it's
is,
very challenging to actually have an argument.
No, it's not. Look, that scenario you've just pointed out.
Yes.
Those people who applied for the same thing that you applied for once, maybe they'd applied for 10 other things and didn't get it.
Exactly. But I'm talking about that one opportunity.
Yeah, well, that's,
Yeah,
because maybe
that
they were
one
better
opportunity.
qualified than you.
Exactly.
You know,
that one
yeah,
opportunity.
yeah.
Sometimes not even necessarily, but it's because it's their time. So that's the thing. That can be a specific scenario when it comes to these things.
Yeah,
You know, like I said, it's very difficult to have conversation. You know, Gen Zs
It's a
and
discussion.
old
It's a discussion.
Zs.
And trust me,
It's very difficult.
Gen
to
Z
have
think they've
Gen
invented-
Zs and old Zs.
they think they invented everything.
Well, not
Everything
necessarily.
that Gen Z is going through, we've been there, done that. We've got the T-shirts,
Yeah, but
and
things
we've
have
got the
changed,
tattoos.
you guys,
What's
from our
changed?
time.
What's changed?
Few things.
Human nature.
Not necessarily, but
Yeah,
things
the only thing
dynamics.
that changed is that you guys spend all your time on your phones rather than interacting with people in the real
Well,
world.
because
You know,
we
but,
interact using our
you know,
phones.
yeah,
I interact
right.
with people on TikTok
Go to
who
a-
are in
go to
Canada,
a
who are in
restaurant.
Germany.
Go to a restaurant and see how people are interacting. They're all on their phones. They're not on the same table. They're not even speaking to each other.
Because sometimes
Gen
maybe
Z.
they're
Come on.
influencers, they're
And,
filming.
and the crucial
Please
bit you're
don't stop
missing
me on
there.
influencers.
Well, but you see, Jay, the crucial bit you're missing there is
What?
this. You don't know our generation, but we know yours.
Well,
I
yeah.
can see you, but you really cannot see me.
That is true. That is
In-
very
in
true.
many ways.
Yeah, but you guys tend to explain your generation a lot because we always have the intergenerational dialogues where you bring us back to say, oh, our time. So we kind of know certain things that you guys were like
You
kind
do
of...
not know. Be careful with the word know.
Because you haven't lived it.
No,
Be
We haven't lived
careful
it, we know certain
what
things.
knowing means.
yeah, we know certain things, but we have not lived it.
But we've lived yours and ours.
Well, yeah.
You haven't lived
So
ours.
the perspective.
So that is why they can't allow us to be.
Massively, the perspective is extremely huge.
Well,
The
yeah.
difference.
The difference, right?
And really, it's context. That's
Exactly.
really what perspective
Yeah,
means.
but I
that
just-
gives you meaning.
Exactly.
Without that context, you are looking at things from cracks.
Yeah, but I just had to bring this out. Sometimes there's a lack of sincerity when it comes to these.
That's
You know, there's
that
a lack of
one,
sincerity
yeah.
to say, don't rush things. And there are times where I did not listen to those and I ended up achieving what I needed to achieve, even though somebody said to me, don't rush it. And I ended up getting what I needed to get.
As I said for the 10th time, all of us have been told that.
Exactly.
It's not unique
It
to you.
sounds like you're quarreling with somebody.
I am not. No, 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 no.
Somebody.
I am not. No. Because maybe some of them, they're being like they thought they were advising me for what's right, but it did not fit. You know, it not necessarily. Not necessarily. Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't fit.
Yeah, it doesn't.
You're
Yeah,
right. You're
yeah.
right.
So after the program, we're now supposed to go for a short break, and when we come back, we have the newspaper review, and we'll be taking a look at stories that actually happened over the weekend and then last week.
And what else is
also,
on the show?
we have Aji Aisatundao, an educationist. The NAMI Foundation gave her a Lifetime Achievement Award for her amazing work in curriculum building, gender inclusion in education, and just, you know, being that amazing teacher over the years for decades. So we'll be speaking with her. I'm super excited for that particular segment. We'll just go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll head right on to the newspaper review. Do stay. QMoney and Orange Money has just made money transfer easier. Now you can send money from Gambia to Senegal directly from your QMoney wallet. So what are you waiting for? Get your QMoney account now and start sending money to your friends and families through Orange Money in Senegal now. For more information, call our customer care on 133. QMoney, Sunu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
QMoney e Orange Money joni weɓini nuldugol mbuɗi mi yetoma joni ida wawi nuldude mbuɗi iwrako Gambia ɗo yaha Senegal e QMoney wallet ma on eyyi ko honno wonɗa e fadde mi yetoma udduto QMoney account ma on joni fuɗɗoɗa nuldude mbuɗi e teriɓe ma rewa ɗon ka Orange Money nder Senegal fi heɓugol hen ko laaɓi ida wawi noddude QMoney customer care e 133 QMoney suñu kalpe ɗum no yaadi e sartaji.
Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV This Morning, and I am Jenna Bosonko. I'm here with my amazing co-host, Mr. Momodu Mboj, and our guest here, Ade Rami. Thank you so much for joining us.
In fact, when you mentioned amazing co-host, I was going to mention Ibrahim Abalde. I hope people saw the story he posted on Saturday. He interacted with the Gambian students in Turkey.
I actually read the news and I saw some of their plans, which was really exciting.
So that was good, yes.
He's currently even watching us right now.
Well, let's hope he is.
He's watching us right now.
Let's hope he's moved away from where there's snow, because he encountered snow for the man. He seemed to enjoy it.
Yeah, and he told me that he's going to Greece. I love Greece.
Yeah,
I can't wait to go to Greece and do my white and blue outfits. I'm so jealous of Ibrahima right now. I'm so jealous.
He's living the life.
He's living it.
When she said amazing, I said, "Woo, have I incarnated?"
Yeah. So over the weekend, President Adama Barrow launched or awarded a TVET fund of over $300 million to several TVET institutions in the Gambia to ensure that TVET is developed when it comes to curriculum, and also young people are actually sponsored in different TVET institutions. We saw Gainjoro, we saw different TVET institutions, and I'm sure there was a criteria that they put together to actually choose.
That's right. Yes.
I saw Crab Island. When I saw Crab, I'm like, well deserved for Crab Island, because they've been struggling a lot when it comes to finance, and they're able to get $1 million to ensure that they improve it, and, which is a good thing through the World Bank. Yeah,
I mean, what's good about it also is the fact that, for TVET and stuff, we've been talking about the importance of TVET. And we've gone beyond talking about it now. We're now trying to, when you want to properly empower these institutions, give them the funding to be able to survive and thrive. And really, that's where we are with this one. So it's a start. It's a good start. Let's hope it continues, and let's hope the fund isn't one that's going to be subject to, kind of shocks, as we've seen with some of the US-funded projects in this country. Where Trump has had a tantrum and decided to cut foreign aid, and it's affected quite a lot of projects here in the Gambia. But this one, as you said, World Bank and so on, is much more secure.
It's a good.
I was in Tibet.
KYT
for 8 years. Also. Oh, absolutely. I mean, come on, that area really has to develop. We've been talking about that for a long time. And in fact, for all of these, the authority, the regulatory authority, NACA, under the previous, the late Dr. Jibril Joe, whilst I was in Tibet, we saw how they wanted to regularize the curriculum, to bring up the standards, to make sure that all instructors were properly trained as it were to be doing this. They're all of a piece, aren't they? The institution's running well, and then you have the money to, you know, sponsor students. So yes, it's an area that needs to grow. So obviously this will sort of give it a lot of push.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, and I'm glad you talked about the fact that, excuse me, it is important that, you know, the funds are put into good use. But I'm sure there was a criteria to say these are the institutions that the money will be given to sponsor, give scholarships and improve the standard when it comes to TVET. And also we've seen Lawyer Usainu Dabo, the leader of the United Democratic Party, was out to clarify the meeting, the tete-a-tete they had with the head of the International IDEA on the draft constitution. And we also saw from there how several activists went online to say we do not think, you know, that tete-a-tete should have taken place. It should have been an open dialogue because two people could not decide.
This was within Ibn Chambers.
Yes,
so
Ibn Chambers, yes, the head of the International
the two
IDEA.
of Barrow and
Lawyer Usainu Dabo. Yes. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, we heard, and it's about getting consensus on the Constitution, because there's been a dispute. When the Constitution went in its previous form, the draft, it was kicked into touch by the National Assembly. And then the new one that's now being considered has been introduced essentially by NPP, and the UDP and others have kind of, I suspect even before they read it, had taken objection to it because of how it had been presented again. And so now we're trying to see, well, you know, what do we do? Do we tinker with this one to take in the concerns and amend it that way, or throw the whole thing out and start all over again? Myself and Boj and another colleague had a discussion about whether they wanted to bring back the one that was rejected, the 2020 version. I don't see the logic or the sense in that. It was rejected the last time. If it comes back unchanged, why would it not be rejected again? So, you know, something needs to happen, and I'm not sure what, but I think dialogue is good. And you know, if we are to achieve a consensus as to what should be in the draft or not, then the talking has to continue.
So you were,
Two points there. The fact that even Chambers had to come, just as we discussed it, that in itself tells you something. It seems we cannot resolve it. We need this external help, as it were, catalyst, if I can call him that, to help us resolve our differences. Secondly, well, it's got to change. But how is it going to change? What is going to change? That's really what the issue is. I think what Usainu Dabo wants, the 2021, I do not think that that's going to come back. But again, I suspect that what the president wants, 2024 one, that will also have to change. This is my suspicion.
And that's why I said
at some point,
it's a meeting, some sort of compromise has to be struck
somewhere.
Exactly.
Or we're going to be stuck with the 97 one come 2026 election and beyond.
So I feel that that's what it is.
I think at the moment they are at almost polar opposites in terms of
2020
an agreement.
2024. So before we leave, quickly, you were talking about the Oscars. Did I watch the Oscars?
You said you watched it for the dresses.
We can translate this into Gambia to, take a look at our movie industry. Do we even have one?
We have one, and our colleague, I don't know, I hope I'm not giving the game away, but our colleague, Mam Nabukar, is about to do a story on female filmmakers in the Gambia for March, because it's, International Women's Month. So, she's going to be doing that. So it's a fledgling industry.
Well,
it's kind of struggling.
It is
there are some, when I came in 2019, there were a couple of movies that premiered at Q City Cinema. But I have to be, they weren't that good. So hopefully with people like Babu Sise coming in and working with people, he's helped to raise the standard. and we saw the shorts that were produced as a result of his collaboration with some Gambian. The talent is here.
But it's just the organized, the structure is lacking.
The structure, because you have people who, they wake up one day, they have an idea and they think, oh, I'm going to make a movie.
Exactly.
And then when you see the end product, it's very poor. Yeah. Why would I spend my money when I could go and watch something else that's much better made, better put together, better produced, everything, than this just because it's Gambian. So we shouldn't expect people to turn up. And what has to happen with the Gambian film industry is what has happened with the Gambian music industry. When I used to come here 15, 20 years ago, I could go to a club, a party, whatever. From start to end, I would not hear a single Gambian record. Yeah. Now in Gambia, that is an impossibility.
Yeah, true.
A Gambian artist, in his wildest dreams, would not have dreamt of filling Q City
or the stadium.
Yeah. Now, why? Because the music has improved to such an extent that that can happen. That is what needs to happen with the film industry. And we're a long way away from that.
And also the fact that we need proper awards. Because whatever the case, it's a boost. For example, the GRA award, because it happens, people want to rush to go and pay for, filing their taxes, But Gambia currently, in our music industry, we used to have the Wassa Halat, which is dead now. It didn't even happen last year. Year before last, I don't think it happened either.
The year before last.
Year before last, it did. Yeah. So I think we need these as well, because look at the Oscars.
But look, you award excellence. As we're about to find out.
Well, yes, that's the example that I'm about to give, because you know why? Because the NAMI Foundation is changing the game and changing the game in a way that when they award you, they kind of give you like a seed funding or something to go and improve yourself. For example, the winner, Angelic, the winner in all regions, she got $100,000. Right. Each of the other 8 winners got $50,000 each. It might not be much in the eyes of other people, but
that's the point I'm making.
Exactly.
We are awarding and rewarding excellence.
Exactly. That's what I'm looking for.
We shouldn't have awards for the award's sake.
Yeah, it's very important.
But if people are good, then we
have to
them
award and
reward
them. Of
course,
I totally agree with that. But the Oscars, the dresses were beautiful, I must say.
I'm sure Mr. Mboja agrees that the dresses were beautiful.
But thank you so much, Mr. Ade, for joining us on the program. Now we will be joined by Aji Aisa Tundao, who was awarded a Lifetime Achievement Award at the NAMI Foundation Award Ceremony for Teacher Prize. After the break, we will be right back.
QMoney aning Orange Money ye bulo di nyola pour ka kori kio sone yandi ka bonang Gambia banko kang kata Senegal banko kang aning QMoney wallet eka mune batu imuna fan QMoney account wala sign pour ka dati ka kodoki iterimal anila dimbayal kana aning Orange Money Senegal ni lafta ku Senegal sotola je QMoney customer care commandi 133 QMoney sunyu kalpe nying sartol le bala QMoney ak Orange Money ñoo lëkkaloo pour yombalal leen yónnee xaalis bàyyi ko Gambia dem ba Sénégal ak QMoney wallet looy toog di xaar dawal léegi nga ubbi QMoney account pour nga mun a door di yónnee xaalis sa xariteeg sa mbokk yi jaarale ko Orange Money Sénégal léegi pour am si lu leer mun nga call QMoney customer care si 133 QMoney suñu kalpe lii dafa ànd ak sarta yuñ tëral.
Mitoma. First time cross, really threatening, and it's dropped for Minte, rifled in!
Did you know you can buy cash power using QMoney wallet absolutely free up to 30,000 C's? Use our app or dial 323 hash and select Q Power. Choose Register Meter. Enter your meter number. Dial *323 hash and follow these simple steps. Number 1, select option 3 for Q Power. Number 2,
Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. And Mr. Mbuj, like I mentioned, we are now joined by Aja Aisa Tundao, who was awarded a Lifetime Achievement Award during the NAMI Foundation Teacher Prize Award Ceremony. held at a local hotel. And congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, so how did you feel when you were informed that you will receive a Lifetime Achievement Award by the NAMI Foundation?
Well, I think I was very happy and excited, and I was also elated because even though I knew that there was this award going on, but I never thought it would come to me, because I was thinking that it was just for the teachers from the lower basic, the upper basic, and the senior secondary. So I didn't even think about it. So when I was called by Mrs. Suso, I was so surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see how happy you are already. And also, Ms. Mboch, she's worked well when it comes to gender inclusion. Gender inclusion, building of curriculum, and all of that for actually several decades. So we can take this one after the other, which gender inclusion to start with.
No, perhaps I'll start with the teaching itself.
Okay, all right.
How did it
How
all
did it
begin?
work? Okay.
Well, I started as a primary school teacher because when I finished school, well, let me just say that teaching was not something I even thought of when I was going to school.
Right.
Because I was this shy person and I thought I would never be a good teacher. But then when I finished school, I went to the Gambia College, and that's where I first did my primary teacher certificate, then started teaching at the primary school. I remember I first taught at Kasakunda, at that time primary school. Then after that, I moved on, became a secondary school teacher. And later on, after my university degree and all of that, that's when I joined the Gambia College. I think the part that I enjoyed most in my teaching is at the Gambia College.
Why is that?
Well, because I think that is where I was able to meet different people, mature people or older people who I was able to relate with. And apart from relating with them, I was also able to support them. We worked together. And again, that is also where we train the teachers. And training the teachers, I think, means to the Gambia. So I think that's where I really put a lot of effort, and that is where I think, if I say the Gambia came to know me, because with student teachers posted all over the country, and at the same time also when they qualified, they moved to every school in the Gambia. I think it was something that I really put an effort. And I've seen so many young people coming to the college, going out, and some continuing to university. Others after that leaving the teaching field, becoming very important people in this country.
So how were you able to support them? I know some challenges exist at the level of the Gambia College, and we saw how when you received the award, the entire social media, your pictures were everywhere. All the Gambia College students that you mentored, had one or two things to say. So considering the challenges that existed at the time, what methods did you use to empower them?
I think when you're doing something, if you have passion, and you like it, you will not even see the challenges. Yes, the challenges will be there, and they were there. But then because it was something I liked, and then it was something that I had passion for, and it's something I went into wholeheartedly, it was sort of easy. I had that listening ear. I can fight with my students, quarrel with them, drive them out of my class, which I can say I've done, but then at the end of the day, I come back to them, because when you look at it, we are all colleagues. Even though I am the one with the upper hand, but then we are all colleagues. So we learn to understand each other. And they also learn to understand me. And I also learn to understand them. Because when I started at the Gambia College, I started as a junior lecturer, I can say. From junior lecturer, I moved on to senior lecturer before I became the head of school. So I think during that process, I was able to learn a lot about the students, about the environment, and so on. So I think when you look at it, if you are passionate about something, you like what you're doing, then obviously, even the challenges are there, you will not even see them. You will have to try to make sure that you overcome the challenges.
Okay, Mr. Mboch?
Yes. So here I wonder, with all that experience,
Yeah.
when we talk about educational excellence, what are we talking about?
Well, when we talk about educational excellence, I think we are looking at education in general. We are looking at the good side of education. We are looking at what education can do for an individual. Because many a times, you know, we talk about education. I'm looking at education. We talk about education. And we say, oh, this person is educated. But is the person really educated? We have to ask that question.
Yeah.
But for most people, education is just book learning.
Exactly.
Yes, passing the exams, getting the certificate.
Right.
But if you pass the exam, you get the certificate, and you cannot use what you have learned to change your life or to change the life of other people, then you are not educated.
That's it. Let me just stop you there, because when you said that, I just thought, oh, she must have been there when Dr. Gibbs Langley, our former Secretary General, made a certain speech and said, some people are educated, others are certificated.
Yes,
It's
and there's two different
I
things.
immediately thought about that.
There are some who are certificated
Extraordinary.
and there are others who are educated.
Right.
Because
Continue,
education
yes.
is meant to change the life of an individual
Exactly.
and also the life of other people. But if you cannot use it to change your life or to change the life of other people, then we have to put a question mark.
Yeah.
So that would be excellence,
That's it,
really.
yeah.
That's it. But then here we consider what excellence might mean. With the teacher is one thing, and even from the pupil. What does it mean? Do parents come into it? As it were, when we look at that,
because when we're talking about education, especially the school, you have three players there. You have the teacher, you have the pupils, and you have the parents. When we talk about the teacher, the education officers, all you can put it in one box as the teacher and so on. Then you have the pupils, that's the learners, and you also have the parents. The parents play a very important role, especially at the time when the learners are young. When they are older, maybe it's different, but when they are young, the parents play a very important role. So when you look at from the side of the parents, they also have to put in a lot of efforts, and that is where the excellence will come in. The pupils also, the same thing, and the teachers together with the education support and all of that. So obviously, it's these three you combine to get excellence in education.
Yeah, so part of the things why you received this award is also your work in curriculum building in the Gambia. And you're talking about, you and Mr. Mboja are talking about some who are educated and some who are certified. Did you observe a trend as such? That is why you got into curriculum reviews, to ensure that at least our curriculum reflects our current realities, to ensure that people are actually educated to change societies and individuals.
Yeah, of course. Because when they talked about curriculum, I think as a teacher trainer, obviously we are into curriculum development, we are into curriculum review. I have participated in a lot of curriculum development and reviews. And like you asked, whether trying to make sure that people are educated, that's why we
current realities.
Yeah, current realities and so on. Of course, yes, because you need to look at the current realities. You cannot keep on teaching what you've been teaching for so many years. Today we talk about competencies. We talk about, because when you look at the traditional methods of teaching, it was more about rote learning. Students memorize, pass exams, and then forget about it. But then when you learn something, you should be able to apply it, and that's the competency base. So here, when you're looking at the curriculum that is being reviewed now, it's more about competency, so that at least the learner will be able to go and practice what he or she have learned. Sometimes just simple thing. You teach the child, don't throw papers in the on the floor or outside in the playground and so on. The child will, you give an exam. Where should you throw papers? And you have your option A, B, C. And then the child will tick the correct option. Or the child will write, I'm not supposed to throw the papers outside and
I'm
so
supposed
on.
to put it in the bin.
In the dustbin and so on.
Yeah.
And then the child will get it correct. But then the next minute from that examination hall, that child will eat and then take the paper and throw it anywhere.
Yeah.
So
then
you
it's
can
not
see
reflecting.
the differences. Yeah, you can see the differences.
Yeah.
Passing the exam there, but not being able
In
to
real
practice
life,
it in real life and
practicing
so on.
it. Yeah,
so we
that's the
try to look
problem.
at those things, the competencies. What are the competencies that the learners need? Is it just to be able to read and write? Yeah. I think when you look at colonial days, for example, most people were taught to be literate so that they can be clerks and some of these other things. But today, that's not what we need. Today, we want people who can be competent. Yes, engineers, doctors, lawyers, teachers. Even as a teacher, you have to be competent in what you're doing and so on.
Yeah.
So that's why we review curriculums. That's why we develop new curriculums and so on.
Also, part of the award is the gender inclusion activities that you've been ensuring. But we've seen some sort of gender parity. Last year, I can remember the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, celebrating a milestone as such, So how was your work able to ensure gender inclusion
since I started
in education?
the Gambia College, part of my activities or part of my work was lecturing. And I've been lecturing gender. And I think that's where most of my students even know me. Even up till now, I do lecture gender. And also, even at the University of the Gambia, the Gender 101 course, I'm the one who's been taking it for so many years and so on. But then I've also been involved in a lot of gender training programs, gender activities and so on. So I think that is in order to sort of create awareness. Because we come from a traditional society where we are made to believe that the man is superior, the woman is inferior, okay? And I think when we look at development, we need both men and women in terms of development. You cannot just say, develop the man and leave the woman. Because when you do that, at the end of the day, looking at our population, you have more women than men. And then again, you look at also the men. How many of them can help in developing the nation? Because when we remove the younger ones and then we remove the older ones who are not able to contribute any longer, what would happen? So for us to develop, we need to include both men and women. And that is the reason why we're talking about that inclusion. Educate the women, give them the support so that they can also work together with their male counterparts, and then development can take place.
I know Mr. Mboch has a question before we leave, but
Not
you
necessarily.
do. Not necessarily, but quickly. Ñun ñep ci community ci lañ joggé. Man dama mak di déga time xalé dañ dé mëna wax né passulo grade 12 demal ci Gambia college bi kon nga janga teaching.
You're very right.
Dang ko dé déga. Dañ la ko dé xassé sa. So passuté exam dal xamal né Gambia college nga dem nekk teacher.
You're very right.
Nonu lañ la dé xassé. We grew up hearing those things in communities. So lolu naka nga ko fogé, as a teacher bi nga xamné yaga nga ci field bi lolu so xam nga fofu excellence bi dafa manké.
That's interesting de why en ko contrast.
Acha nañ dem.
Then bala nga ñew.
Wow.
Man suma ñewé suma generation. Colonial period just after that in the 80s 70s 80s lañ mak. Why ni nga gis né anybody afterwards ku fi mun di nekk big man liñ ko ooyee nekkoon nga teacher so that pride level tamit mu ngi fa woon so yaa ngi ñëwaat two different so how would you address time boo xam ne dañ amoon status ñu ngi amoon status am pride and next ñu ngi ko gisee in such terms
si commencement bi comme time colonialism ak after colonialism nga gis ne teacher bi mooy woon lu nekk mooy woon docteur bi surtout si villages yi moom mooy woon docteur bi mooy nurse bi mooy letter writer bi moom mooy woon everything ñëpp moom lañ respectoon bu njëkk sax su la sa parent buggee punish daf laa ne la su ma demee di wax ko sa teacher bi was respected well respected at that time but then generations change then you had and then at that time boobu noonu you had fewer teachers bari wuñu woon ba pare teachers yi were very mature yi na dañ ñoo dem ba mag ba pare door a mun a dugg si teaching field bi balaa ñoo qualify léegi nag you have a younger generation waxuma ne they are not mature but then li ma wax mooy they are younger because da ngaa gis koo xam ne dafa joxel grade 12 this year di in July October mu dugga Gambia College def 3 years by the time muy jeexal already su fekkente ne it's an upper and a senior secondary that's a 6-year period time yi moo jeexal dina fekk xale yi nekkaloon si school bi ba tey ñu ngi si school bi so di nga gis ne xale yooyu noonu suñ ko gisee mu ñëw ne leen man maay seen teacher loolu noonu mun naa indi another thing waaw so that is one aspect but then again I think nit ñi tamit lu bari dañ dee foog ne teaching dara nekku fa nga dégg ñu ne soo amu dara demal teaching
loolu lañ la ko
waaye fi mu nekk nii trend have changed because man time bi maa dem Gambia College to tell you the truth cohort bu nekk that's batch buy ñëw cannot be more than 300 te boobu noonu dañ daan saraxtu nit ñi sax laay wax pour ñu ñëw waaye right now nit ñi gis nañ ne teaching is the only job bi nga xam ne or training bi nga xam ne soo ko trainer ba pare immediately you'll get a job and then from there you can move on to other things. We have so many people in this country, ministers, even our vice president.
Mr. Mbodja ngi waaye Mr. Mbodja nii dégg naa ne teacher bu tàngoon la de Mr. Mbodja
so you can and the teacher is very versatile.
waa time moom dafa mel ni jeex na tak na
gis nga perspective li mu dee def
dafa utee seen time ak suñ time
waaye moom gis nga perspective bi yëpp la put in place
waaw naka la ko gis
to solve jigsaw puzzle
exactly thank you so much Auntie Aissatou Ndaw si lu ñu join fii thank you for being an inspiration to teachers and congratulations once again for your award yal na rapa jama so that is all we have time for till we come your way tomorrow with another program. Thanks for joining us.
QMoney aning Orange Money ye bulodi nyola pour ka kori kio sone yandi ka bonan Gambia banko kan kata Senegal banko kan aning QMoney wallet e kamune batu e muna fan QMoney account wala sign pour ka dati ka kodoki e terimal anila dimbayal kana aning Orange Money Senegal ni lafta ku Senegal sotola je QMoney customer care commandi 133 QMoney suñu kalpe ñing sartol le bala QMoney